Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again for the recording of this week's blog. The topic this week is probably going to sound like it might be a bit prickly, so to speak, because it's about divisiveness versus unity. However, the title of the blog is called Divisiveness versus Unity, a Soul's Perspective. So it's looking at it from a different set of eyes. Okay, so let's get to it. As of late, it seems one of the major topics of conversations is about how divided we are, not only politically, but in many other areas of our lives. Why does this happen over and over, even though our souls know and communicate to us on a deep inner level that we are one? Unity is real from a spiritual perspective, though many of us here on the earth plane perceive and believe the illusion of separation. There are those of us on a spiritual path who do look beyond the illusion of isolation and really do see the truth. We are one energy and one soul, likened to the trillions of cells in the human body. Now, if all the cells are not working together to sustain health, the biological form will begin to feel unwell and perhaps cease to function healthfully, and may even die physically. The soul, of course, can never die because it's immortal. However, the more we cease to function as one, the less we will feel whole, the more we will forget who we infinitely are, and the more lost we may become within the illusions of the physical experience. So here's a question. How do you think separation and divisiveness began in the first place? I think it began with the formation of the human ego, both individual and collective. The ego, as we know, takes up residence in the mind and tries to influence our thinking. And as we know, also the ego is the part of us that is afraid of pretty much everything. Yet ironically, it needs fear to sustain itself, which sounds strange. It feeds on fear, and so it must keep us in a state of terror to some degree in order to survive. Our ego also needs another person to compare itself to so that it can feel better about who we are as a human being. It chooses to focus on our differences rather than our similarities. When the comparison fully takes over our thoughts, judgment, power, and control follow close behind. The more the fear rises, the more difficult it becomes to hear the loving, inclusive, and unifying voice of our soul. So what we're really trying to uncover here is this. What are the implications of an ego-driven world as compared to a world driven by spirit? Well, an ego-driven world is almost completely taken in by the finite physical experience. The ego, personal or collective, makes decisions and choices that will allow the individual person, institution, community, race, religion, political party, or anything that it can draw comparison from to stay relevant, in power, in control, or influential. It doesn't care about the afterlife, what comes after this, and how our choices will affect our soul's growth. It can see no farther in front of itself than its most current mission, victory, acquisition, battle, or corporate pleasure. And it blusters and boasts loudly, often drowning out the soft and gentle voices of our soul and our team of light. A spiritually directed world, on the other hand, keeps us focused on the fact that every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take will affect not only our own spiritual health and evolution, but also the health and evolution of the one body and energy that unites each of us to each other. It also makes us aware that this journey here, among other things, but primarily the journey here, is all about love, kindness, compassion, and togetherness. We need each other. We only have a finite amount of time to accomplish our soul's plan. If we get off track by submitting our will to our ego, the less progress we will make here, and the less likely it will be that we find and follow through with our life purpose and our soul's plan. We as humans have been doing this dysfunctional dance for a very long time. The content of the steps, the content or the steps, let's say, of the dance, so to speak, change with time. Yet the ballroom that we were given to learn how to dance is always the same. And so is the choreographer, our creator. And that choreographer always asks us to dance our steps with love for ourselves and every living soul, forgiveness of ourselves and others, and with the understanding that our dance, if done this way, will create a synchronized, unified, and peaceful production of all souls dancing the dance of love. The music that life plays for us will not always be to our liking. Things happen. But how we choose to dance to that music, that's our choice to make. And sometimes we can dance by leading with our wise and enlightened soul, if that is our soul's purpose. Or sometimes we will be the one following for a while as a beginner soul, with the intention that we will in someday lead others through this celestial dance of divine love. The ballroom is not just the earth, too, by the way, but every realm where souls exist within the entire cosmos. As we can clearly see, if unity is real and we are all united, and if how we conduct our lives impacts the health and wellness of the one that we are all connected to, then hurting another person, race of people, members of a specific religion, another culture or country, it's just pure insanity. To destroy another means to destroy a part of ourselves. We are souls having a physical experience. Our soul's ultimate purpose is to be the love that we infinitely are and to help the rest of the human souls here to do the same. It really is that simple. But it's a pretty tall order for sure. Our world seems pretty messed up. The news on all the TV and radio stations and in every newspaper ram down our throats every toxic, fear-mongering morsel it can find. It does this so that we'll stay tuned into the drama until we are swallowed whole ourselves by the divisive, fear-mongering monster of the collective ego. And we might feel powerless to make a positive transformational difference or impact on the world because, well, we're just merely one person with no huge platform so that we'll be heard. However, that's very far from the truth. Here's why. Since we are connected to one another by a huge matrix of energy and light, we have the power to send our intentions, our wisdom, our truths, and our love out into the matrix of the one. It will then be received by every soul that was ever created. Every soul. The more light workers like you and me who agree to commit to the cause of love and peace, the more quickly we silence the dysfunctional and fearful collective ego, and the sooner we will help all of us to remember the truth of our existence here and in the hereafter. So, what is the truth? The truth is that everything here in the physical world is an illusion created for the sole purpose of assisting our souls in evolving and learning to wisely use the vast and mighty power of our souls, which was gifted to us by our Creator. Wasting our lifetimes in pursuit of corporal power and control is an absurdity. It will only result in stagnation and in an inability to move forward for as long as we remain unconscious and shackled by our ego. Eventually, however, and this is the good news, eventually we will, all of us, every single one of us will awaken and realize the folly of wasting our opportunities to learn our lessons and evolve on our soul's path. Yet we, who are and will always be unified by the one, will ultimately find our way back to the truth, to our soul-directed path, and back to the arms of the infinite light, our Creator. So why waste another second? We can all take a moment and ask our team of light for assistance in breaking free from the isolation of divisiveness and in gaining the freedom to join fully and lovingly with the unifying force that connects us all. We can still champion our causes. We can still do all these things that we want to do here in this world. So we can still champion our causes. We can still speak truth to power and help to right the wrongs of this world. Yes, together we can work to change the world, but do it by first remembering that we must do it from a foundation, again, of kindness, compassion, acceptance, tolerance, and love. Acting as one, with determination, faith, and trust, love will find a way. It always does. So that's the end of the written blog, and I don't really have too much to add to that, except again to reiterate or just talk a little bit more about the fact that, we know that we're one, and we can say this all as a concept, but think about your personal life, our personal lives together, and how we behave. And if I hurt you in any way, mentally, physically, emotionally, I hurt myself because I can't disconnect from you. So whatever I do to you, I'm doing to myself. So why would I even want to hurt myself? And even if I do something to you that is hurtful and you don't know it, your soul does. There is an effect for everything that we do. So if we just live our lives from a perspective of unity, knowing that our actions, our thoughts, our words, our actions, all of it, every single bit of it has an effect on all of us. When we think that way, we'll stop and we'll pause a moment before we say something that might be hurtful to someone else. So I guess I'll leave you with that. Thank you again. I say the same thing, but it's always the truth. That I really, really appreciate you being here and spending this time with me. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week forward. It's beginning to, it's still freezing out there, but at least here in the Northeast, but the sun is changing. You can see the changes in the sunlight in the different parts of the day. So we know that spring is coming. For those of you who are like me, who are spring, summer, fall, but winter, not so much. But for all you skiers, I'm sure you're happy. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I hope I will see you again next week, okay? Namaste.